Hi, my name is Camille, and this is the in between, that sacred, messy space between what was and what is yet to be. Today, I want to talk about courage because courage is necessary when we are transforming ourselves into a new version of ourselves. Courage is necessary when we're going through change, whether we initiated it or it's been imposed upon us. And courage is simply a necessary component of living a healthy, adventurous life. In the old design model, when we felt fear, it was a stop sign. At least in my experience, fear was information to stop. Don't go. Don't try. Don't do. Now, obviously, there's moments when fear is a stop sign and we should pay attention to it. There are moments when fear is a direct piece of information that says, don't, in order to protect ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. However, a lot of times the mind experiences fear anytime there's something new because the mind can only rely on what it knows in the past. And when it's drawing on the past to give you information about whether you should do the thing that's before you in the present, oftentimes it goes, wait a second, remember when this happened before and you made that decision? Like, look what happened. You better not do that again. So it takes courage to overcome the convincing narrative of the mind to not do something and to have the courage to do it. When I was becoming an adult, I read a book that changed my life. I highly recommend it. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. What? That's possible? I remember reading that book going, wait a minute. You mean I can feel fear because it's a natural response to what this new thing is? My life isn't in danger. Nothing bad is going to happen. It's not that kind of fear. It's the fear that my mind is telling me I should have because it's something new. And the mind, of course, fears anything it doesn't know. That's why the mind always fears anything that's new, because it's new. It doesn't have something it can rely on to tell you about that specific thing, but it doesn't hesitate to still pull anything it can from the past to convince us that you better not. And when I read that book, I was like, wait a second. So you're telling me I can feel this fear and take the fear with me and do it anyway? Wow, that was a game changer. And that began my journey with courage. Because when you allow yourself to feel the fear and do it anyway, guess what happens? Eventually, the fear dissolves. Eventually, you're not feeling fear. In the new design model, excitedness replaces fear. In the new design model, eagerness replaces fear. In the new design model, a sense of self confidence and self love overrides any debilitating narrative that fear tries to throw in our path. Courage is a muscle that we strengthen with every yes we say. Every time you say, I am so afraid right now, and I'm going to do this anyway, you are building a muscle of courage that will support you for the rest of your life. Anytime you say, I'm shaking in my boots, I'm so afraid to say this thing to this friend, this person, this partner, but I have to, and you do it anyway, you are expressing courage. You know, courage is not always the roar of a lion. Most times, it's this quiet gesture of saying yes to yourself. It's this moment in which you show up, afraid, but willing to show up anyway. It is so profound to understand how courage is developed. It's right up there with resilience, which is also part of the change experience. But in the beginning, in the change cycle, in the first ingredients of change that we've been discussing, being cracked open, drifting with no sense of direction, um, needing to release and let go to make more room for what is seeking to emerge as the next version of your life. There we have courage. Courage is necessary to align yourself with being cracked open versus resisting it. Courage is necessary to be in the drift, to be floating, to be going with the flow, because you know that everything is happening for your highest and greatest good. It takes courage to release and let go, whether it's a habit, a relationship, or a version of yourself that you know in your heart that you have outgrown. So, though it doesn't always happen like the roar of the lion, very much like in The Wizard of Oz, it comes directly from your heart, the brains of the operation. You want to feel courage? Say yes when your mind is saying you better not. You want to strengthen your courage muscle? Do something that makes you shake and quake in your shoes because it's so new, it's so outrageous, and everything in you is saying you're crazy. There was a time not too long ago when I was afraid to do these videos. I'm a radio person. I'm a broadcaster. I've been behind the microphone for 35, 40 years. However, I realized not too long ago that video is a really popular way in which people communicate and get information. And I did not want to miss my train. I wanted to get on my train so that I could connect with you in all different kinds of ways. And so I started these videos very afraid, very nervous. And yet I did it anyway. And each time I did it, it got a little bit easier. It got a little bit better. It got a little bit more fun. Each time I sit behind this camera to share this information with you that I think is just some of the most important information right now for all of us to have, I am exercising my courage muscle. As long as I just keep showing up, as long as I just continue to be the most authentic version of myself, as long as I just empty the tank and give you everything that I know about the in-between, it is always worth any discomfort I may feel. And so I want to encourage you, if you are looking at something right now and you know that it's asking you to be courageous, and you don't feel like you can be or that you are, I want to remind you that by just saying yes and taking just the first step, you don't have to know the whole thing. It's just about the next step. If you do that, you will be exercising your version of courage. If you're in a difficult place right now, if you are experiencing grief, loss, maybe you're a caregiver for an aging parent and you are just losing it and you feel so alone and you feel like you don't have the courage to take the next step, because I have been there, I want to tell you that you do. I want to remind you that you have got what it takes to take just the next step. And then after that step, the next step. Sometimes speaking your truth requires courage, and we don't feel like we have it to do it. And so we just let it be. But what happens as a result of that is we're acting against the integrity that has been established at the center of our own beingness. We know we have to speak the truth. We know we have to overcome this fear. We know we have to take the step. So I want to invite you to take a breath, exhale, put your hand on your heart, acknowledge your fear, acknowledge the anxiety, acknowledge whatever feeling that you may be having, and then remind yourself that you have all the courage that this moment requires.